Voice of the People TV.
We dey suffer.
Talk your mind.
We are hungry. Everybody is hungry. Even officer know the truth. Officer know that even he knows the truth.
Come up. No wahala. You have stopped. I'm not to say. We don't know the job. Ó jáde.
Tó ti pé ẹ change aṣọ.
Ẹni pé mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan wípé ọ̀dẹ́ kan ní máa.
Ẹ jọ ẹ kúrò lẹ́yìn.
Aṣọ wa wà ibù ẹni tí ò ṣe kúrò wa. Ẹ máa fọ́ ọmọ ibi táwa ẹ lọ sí géèṣì wa.
Ẹni tó ta ló máa lọ sójú ogun tó máa yìí tó máa rántí ọmọ ètò wà lẹ́yìn. Ó ní ẹ máa lọ.
Wo ló pa fún yín?
Ó ní ẹ máa lọ. Ó sọ pé apá àwọn ò lè ká wọn bá dé.
Apá àwọn ò lè ká wọn o.
Ó jáde.
Right, indeed, it was a sad weekend for Nigerian football where it was all drama and terror that the players and officials of the Ikorodu city went through. It was 80 minutes of hell and the fate of what will happen to them if they don't make it home to Lagos, as they were held hostage by the hostile, terrible Shooting Stars fans who were out to lynch those players and officials in a bid to revenge what happened at the Unicon Stadium. Some hours ago, I spoke to one of the directors who, of course, has spoken to us on Locker Room on what really happened. Of course, this and more will be unfolding on Locker Room this lovely afternoon as we take a look at what happened in the derby draw between Shooting Stars and Ikorodu City Football Club in the NPFL. What was supposed to be a thrilling football match ended in chaos. Supporters with reports of lynching and the brutal destruction of the visiting team's bus. With video evidence surfacing, we are breaking down the aftermath of this disturbing incident and discussing the impact it could have on fan culture and security in Nigerian football. And of course, joining us virtually today, we have Maiwa and of course, Ikechukwu. We'll be taking a look at this broadly as we unpack this dramatic and unsettling chapter in NPFL history. Definitely, we want to talk about Nigerian football each time we are here because we don't have the foreigners reporting it better than us. But when we get to have ugly incident like this, it's pretty sad that in 2025, we're having such incidents in Nigerian football. And I think it's high time we tell ourselves the truth. Are we ready to play football and let it meet international standard? Or we are just beating around the bush, deceiving ourselves? Yes, it happens in Europe, but there's a limit to it. But this is one ugly trend. And of course, when I spoke to the Ikorodu City club director who was there, he said they were there for 80 minutes. You could imagine not knowing your fate, whether if you come out, you get lynched to the point of death, or they might break into the dressing room and lynch all of them. You could see one of the fans, some of the fans bleeding, showing that they were injured and lynched. And there was even a report that the center referee was manhandled, was slapped, the female referee. Just imagine. It came to play football, but they turned it to war. And the fact that even the report coming out, the media in Ibadan they also played a major role in making this trouble get to this extent. Because they went and started reporting false information of what happened at the Unicon Stadium. It's great to have you on Locker Room. A lot to talk about.
Absolutely, Jerry. Good evening, and good evening to our viewers. I mean, it's a very sad incident. I mean, if you've been following Nigerian football, you know this is not an isolated case. We've had a lot of this. And while you were talking about it, you know, rolling out and the videos, you know, my mind just went back to a book I read about Nigerian League. It was written by a Port Harcourt-based journalist, Chino Achiri, who was actually recounting the gory and the dark side of the Nigerian football. You know, he talked about so many parts, you know, what it takes to actually win the league, how he actually conquer Africa, so many parts of one particular point, or one very interesting part of, you know, the whole thing in that book was, you know, the violence in the league. You know, talked about where, you know, players who had to run to Sabongeri in the north to stay safe after a particular game, and how, you know, even before a game, you will be threatened that if you get a draw in this game, you are not going home. You know, so many parts of those. Now, let's look at this incident. I think it was last year, we had an incident of referee being manhandled in the league, and all this thing boils down to just one thing. If you keep having incidents of violence, and people repeatedly, it keeps happening. One question you should ask yourself, what exactly is the problem? What measures of what level of deterrence is the body issuing? Because this level of deterrence will most likely determine how far people will want to go to get stuff like this. Now, trust me, we're having this conversation now. What the league body will come up with is likely going to be this 5 million naira fine and 3 points deducted. That's the most you're going to see.
For me, I think I need 100 million.
Exactly. So
100 million
when you start seeing stuff like that very heavy fine, or you get demoted to the second tier league, then people will start, you know, having conversation with their fans. You know that, okay, this is going to be a very hostile game. Fans, please don't come into the stadium. We've had In Aba, for example, when Enyimba and Abiawara want to go into a game, it is usually very tense. But then there's a way you manage these things. Port Harcourt, Rivers United and Enyimba once had this particular issue, I think about 2013, where the fans of, I think a life was lost in one of those, either in Aba or in Rivers State, where the fans of both sides. But these things keep happening because there's no adequate punishment for the sides that actually, that actually causes the problem. Now the question is this: do we really understand what it takes to actually run a business? Right? Because investors will always look at their money. How safe is my money? Am I going to be putting my money where I know that if something happens, everything can just go south, and I'm not going to, if I go to the court to seek redress, I will not get anything. If you know that, yes, as a team, we're going into and many of these things happen also because these club sides are not 100% privately owned. If it's a privately owned business, they will also understand the essence of branding and how to actually keep their brand away from violence. Just imagine, let's put it into perspective. Let's imagine a Real Madrid, right, or a Barcelona, or clubs like Liverpool. Yes, Liverpool have this sort of high octane fan base rather. Now you have a fan base like Liverpool, and then they go into a very intense game with Everton. It's a derby. Now imagine Liverpool fans, enjoy. This is why we always keep clamoring for a complete handover or hands-off from the government, so that we'll have people who really want to put their money in business. They'll be very careful and they will know how to actually manage violence. Because if you know that the safety of this team visiting is 100% yours, whatever it is that happens to them is going to actually result to XYZ. And then who touches smart officials in England, even when they give an obvious wrong call?
All right, I don't know, Maiwa, are you with us now? Because this matter is a very, very long one. And it took the intervention of some of the match officials who had some connection to connect to the military. It was the military that was able to rescue them from the dressing room and escorted them to the boundary of Ibadan so that they can easily make their way down to Lagos. It was an 80 minutes of life and death situation for the Ikorodu City players and officials. They all came to play football, but what they saw was like they came to Afghanistan to play a football match in a country where there is no war. Imagine, Maiwa.
It's always amazing. Look at that big stone inside that bus. Imagine that is the head of somebody there. I think the person will not be with us at the moment. It's just so unfortunate that anytime you visit the Adamasingba Stadium, it's always like that. I do not understand the reason why. I grew up in Ibadan. I know how Adamasingba Stadium is. It's always how Adamasingba is. It is a very volatile environment, especially for away teams. And this comes from the culture of we are playing at home, we have to intimidate you to get results. And that is the reason for that. That's number one. Number two, the management committee managing the league, they have not done so well in terms of dishing out punishment. Remember the case of those that invaded the field. What was I think is it Enugu Rangers or what was the club again? I can't remember. I think last year, what was the punishment that was meted out? Yeah, you begin to issue fines where it doesn't cost them anything. You begin to banish people for 1, 2, 3 games, not for a whole season. That is the reason why this continues to reoccur. Also, the management of 3SC, right? They need to be punished severely. One of your job as the hosting team is to ensure that you provide adequate security for the victim. Well, this is part of the SLA. This is part of the guideline for the league.
But Maiwa, let me now tell you, this was orchestrated with the support of the officials of Shooting Stars. It was not like it was alienated, because the story started from what happened when they came to play Ikorodu City. at the Onikon Stadium. The story was that one of the officials wanted to go past the area which protocol stopped them from going through. So the security man at the Onikon Stadium, it got to fisticuff. They had a fight and they went through blows and one got injured. The official got injured. The official went back to Ibadan with the players and the fans and spread the news that they were attacked, they were intimidated when they were in Lagos, that they should prepare for them. For months now, they've been preparing for this day, for this weekend. So even the media in Ibadan has been taken scot-free, that they were saying it in Yoruba. They had to, like, what is the problem? They didn't even get the information that they've already prepared for them, that this is what is going to happen. They believe that their players were mistreated in Lagos, so they are going to give them double dose. So it was already pre-planned for months. This plan has been hashed, planned, and they have been ready that whenever Ikorodu City comes, this is what they are going to do to them. So it was like a state-sponsored or like a club-sponsored situation. It was really that bad.
It's really sad. The first question we should ask is...
This is the case of even Lobby Stars. What happened to Lobby Stars?
The first question we should ask is, now, if there was actually an incident that, somebody got into a fight and then that particular incident should have been addressed.
It cannot be addressed because it was just a one-off.
That's what I'm saying. No matter how it is, it should have been addressed. The guy who was actually the visiting guy should have actually, lay complaint and perhaps inform the league body.
He could not inform the league body because he knew that he was guilty.
Fine. If Ikorodu City, now the another question we should be asking is Ikorodu City aware of this, plan over the month?
They were not aware. They felt it was just a one-off situation that happened beside the stadium after the match.
The question of it being, circulated in the media in Ibadan that these guys are
they
coming.
Could be in Lagos. They are in Lagos. They don't. Of course, we all know how porous communication or what is happening in Ibadan and what is happening in Lagos is.
I'm trying to really understand the situation. Now, how did they, get to understand that or get to know that these guys are actually, circulating misinformation about them so that when they arrive, they'll get this particular punishment?
The thing is that when they got to Ibadan, they were not giving them the full gist
information
of has been what has been planned. Had it been they were aware beforehand, at least they would have gotten some military men to escort them and take them away.
Jerry, it goes back to what we were saying.
Really bad.
This league, I don't know, but perhaps it's yet to dawn on people who managing this league that we don't have another one. And again, I'll keep clamoring for a total hands-off. See, if private individual run this business, take for example bank. If banks decide to run, a league amongst themselves, you will not find this sort of incidents.
They will protect it.
Because they will protect it. They know that their investment is at stake. That's what it is. It's not like you will not get, issue of violence, one pocket of violence, in one or two occasions, or maybe once or three times in a season, or once in 3 seasons or whatever. You find it because humans are natural emotional beings. But it's not going to be what you see every day with this level of deterrence. If private individuals run business, you see the difference between a government-run... government cannot be running football and running this at the same time. And running the country at the same time. So this is why I will always say this. If private individuals run this, all these clubs will have a proper academy. The ones that even want to have a female team will have a proper structured female team.
If your son is planning on playing football, would you advise to go to a league where their fate is not assured?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Imagine your son says he wants to play the MPFL. Each time he's going away to play away games, you'll be paying. And you might even want to go local to fortify them because you don't know anything can happen. Yes, because now you have to even escape being kidnapped. Yes, kidnappers on the highway, traveling by night. You know how risky it is.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if I'm playing football in the league and I find out that we are playing away games, I will sign in my contract that I will not follow you to play away games.
See,
if not,
Jerry, now
I can't play for that. Yes, I think these footballers, they are the heroes.
Jerry,
the footballers and the officials, they are the heroes in Nigeria that we are not celebrating? Because traveling at night alone it should be recorded among 1,000 ways
to die.
To die. You know that series.
To die.
Yes, because if you escape that and you play,
Yeah.
let me say you go 15 times on the road and you make it out, I think it's a miracle.
Jerry,
alone.
Another thing I'll quickly point out is this. You see, when you look at these sort of things, look at Europe, where we know that, yes, this is where we're actually looking to be. This is people were actually looking to be like as regards football development. You understand that these guys understand certain rules. Now, it's so sad that in our league, if you find a club, if your fine for a club is playing behind closed door, you're not doing any damage to the club because they're not relying on tickets to actually pay their players. The government create budget and the money will come whether you like it or not. And that's how you can see one person will just go into a particular game and say, you know what, I'm buying up this ticket. And everybody will come to the stadium, or the person will decide to resell the tickets. But in Europe, they understand that this is where our money is coming from. They know that outside sales of jersey, the next place their money is coming from is during games. So they don't joke with this part of business. And they also understand the issue of eye test and publicity and promo and brands. We don't even have any of these things. Now, just imagine the MPFL decides, you know what, you are going to play your next 3 games behind closed doors.
What does it change?
What does it change?
Mario, I think I'm always one of those who say whatever happens in our football is a reflection of our society. We don't manage anything.
Yeah, very true.
Look at the oil sector. It's almost the same. It's a free carb. Everybody is just taking what they like, not even considering the effect it will do to the economy. Everybody is all after their own selfish aim instead of looking at the greater good, how it will affect the future, how people are not even afraid of being accused of stealing billions. People say, I stole billions, and so just carry me to EFCC and everything. The morals have gone. People are no longer worried whether you send even the fans. Ikorodu, the Pardon City fans. If you go and meet them, are you guys there to Ikorodu? Say yes, man. Oh yeah, they will be happy.
They will say, "May they come again."
Yes, come. They will repeat it. They don't see anything wrong because people get away for doing something wrong.
Even if they find them 100 million,
yes,
they can still decide not to pay,
and nothing will happen.
And nothing will happen.
Mayo. Yes.
See, the thing is this, we have found ourselves in this mess. And I'll tell you how this thing works. See, that part, where that particular stadium is located, around that particular area, there's a popular meat market there. And you know how butchers are. And the butchers, they are very passionate about 3SC. If you go down a bit, there's also a popular park there. You know what happens in park. And those park boys, they are a big fan of 3SC. Just buy them tickets. They will be willing to pay with their money to come in, provided you've already, since they have been informed that they want to cause mayhem, and that is what we are seeing. I will not be surprised that somebody, a member of 3SC, bought tickets in abundance, because the ticket there, the last time I was there, the ticket was 1,000. I think that was about, sometimes in 2024, early 2024, the ticket is 1,000, and I don't think it has changed. So, I mean, the person can buy enough ticket for people to come and cause problem. In those particular locations, you will see people that are hiding machete, stone, and everywhere around the stadium. Another question is this: there's also a police station very close to where the stadium is. Where were the police when this was happening? Because they know the fans around that stadium, they are very unruly. Sometimes they are even violent. Where was the police? I mean, the job of the police is to restore law and order. Why was it that they had to call on the army before they could get themselves out, when the police station is not very far from that place? I mean, see, if we begin to unpack the issues, we will not leave here. The bottom line is this: we need to do better as a league, and that is the reason why sponsors are not coming. I hope the LMC, those that are handling the league, I hope they will make an example of 3SC. Because, I mean, about 2 weeks ago, Lobby Stars, they were held by cultists. They were being threatened by cultists, and nothing and nothing happened. Everybody kept quiet, and life continues. Lobby Star went their way. They decided to move on as if it's a normal thing, which does not make any logical sense. Now you have the Ikorodu City, players, their life being threatened, and the highest fine will be 10 million and will ban you for 3 years. If the for 3 matches, if the LMC does not banish TBSC to go and play in Play 2 or somewhere very far from their home for the next 1 year, I want to believe that the LMC is also a party to this, because if they are taking stringent actions against clubs that flout the guidelines, this will not repeat itself. Remember, I think sometimes last year we're talking about a particular fine, somebody being fined 10 million. I said the 10 million was not enough. They should be finding them money that will take something away from their pocket. This little fine that they give them will not solve this issue. Until we address this issue, our football will never move forward, to be honest with you.
All right, until we address this issue, our football will never move forward. And Ikorodu City also revealed that military personnel intervened before the club players could exit the Lekon Salami Stadium following their NPFL match against Shooting Stars. And of course, it was really a difficult situation. I could imagine what was going through the minds of the players and officials. I don't even want to see myself in that situation where you don't even know your fate, whether anything can happen. Because that's the worst experience any human being could go through. Because it's at the point of whether are you going to make it home alive. You start thinking about your family, how you left, how you came peacefully, but you are now going in pieces. Imagine that fan that was lynched and look at the courts, bleeding everywhere. Look how bad it is. And this, you just came to watch a football game, came to support your football team. And what's the point difference? Okay, just 2 points now separate Ikorodu City and Shooting Stars. I think they don't even deserve those points. Whatever, maybe they should take at least 40 points from there and go and play in the NNL. I don't know. Maybe that will send a message.
if with the way with this sort of behavior, if these guys manage to play in the NNL, people will not hear what will happen to those guys in the NNL.
You should ban them for football then.
Fine.
They should stop
playing
playing football for 1 year. Yes, they should just leave shooting the rest, the club side for 1 year. Because you are an Ibadan man, you want to say no.
You cannot ban. I'm not an Ibadan man. Definitely, I'm not an Ibadan man. But I have roots in Ibadan, and I watch 3SC. And
you want them to remain in the league.
I don't think they deserve to be banned. And the reason for that is this. The reason for that is this. This has happened many times, and they have not banned anybody, banned them completely for the league. I think it would be unfair if they do that to TBSC. Do they deserve to be banished from their home for the rest of the season, or even the next season? Yes, I'm in full support. Shooting Stars should go and play their games in Maiduguri. I think that should be the perfect punishment for them. They should play their own games in Maiduguri. I think that should be a perfect punishment for them. But banning them completely from the league, I don't think it would be fair to them. And since they're not going to
I think I support this.
If you interact with the majority of the players that play in the league, I know probably Jerry, one or two of them, they will tell you that they have one fortification that they go out with. Because playing in this league is not the Yorubas will call it Ojulasan. It's not Ojulasan. They have something that they use to fortify themselves because of situations like this.
See, some players go to the pitch with talisman on their waist. They wear funny rings to protect themselves because it could enter fisticuff. If you give one blow, the person falls. The other people will know that, yes, this is...
The question you should be asking is, all of this, where is it going to lead us?
If the box stops on the NPFL organizers, which is the LMC and Sheudiko and Co., they should sit together and be administrators of football. Not administrators of what comes to our pocket and what's in it for us.
Jerry, let's look at the Premier League, for example. This is why I always say this. If you want a business to run properly or an organization to run properly as a business, give a business-oriented person the organization to run. When Sean Dyche stepped in the early 90s, is precisely 1990, to start what we know today as the English Premier League, right? He met with the top 5 side, Man U, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and Tottenham. He had conversations with them, and told them we're going to start, you know, a brand new league. At the time, he was the chairman of the London Weekend Television that later metamorphosed into what we know as Sky Sport. He said, I will give you guys unrestricted coverage, but this is the rule we are going to be playing by. This is how the league is going to be. He sets the rules, he sets the template for them, and then the league kick off. You agree with me, in the 90s, the Italian league was the most fancy league in Europe, closely followed by... Over the years, when we got to the mid and early 2000s, the English Premier League began to take shape. You know, you begin to see teams. Manchester United won the Champions League for the very first time in that decade amongst the English sides. So we know that, yes, something's happening in England. And then afterwards, we begin to see re-competition. Between 2000 and 2010, the English Premier League has fully grown and matured to become, yes, the face of league's club side in Europe. And trust me, in 2025, how many years after? 35 years after, right? We can now look back and say, yes, the English Premier League is right there as arguably the most organized league in Europe, and if not the world. Now the question is this: can we not learn from that? Can a businessman not step in and say, you know what, government, hands off, let's do this? It does not mean they don't have a league that was running back in the day.
Let me tell you, this suggestion you are making is
brilliant.
There are a lot of papers to this effect.
No, see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
When we talk about papers, we are looking at papers still from government officials and people who romancing the government.
Private individuals.
The private individuals, what are they offering? It's not enough to actually step in with papers. I just said the London Weekend Television guide came in and said, I am going to exclusively promote this via my platform, which is a TV station. And today, when we talk sport today, nobody is going to look back when Sky Sports speaks.
Let me not even tell you. Do you know that there used to be a TV that was in charge of running the league?
Which TV?
I cannot give them.
What
I
I'm
cannot
saying,
give them what they're calling it. I cannot give them free advert.
No, see,
on good authority, as at 2-3 seasons ago, there was a paid TV that people could register online and watch. Let me tell you, what happened was that they were frustrated.
No, see, that's the thing. We've not really looked at the country we are in. Okay. When we talk about online, data is expensive here. Let's not look at ourselves like, one, the data is expensive.
See.
Two, we don't even have a reliable network.
See, data is expensive, fine.
No.
It was as cheap as 1.5 a month.
No, Jerry, we don't even have a reliable network. These are the issues.
When it was even reliable, they were frustrated.
See,
you have data to watch it. See, it was frustrated.
Ikechukwu.
I can hear you.
See, Ikechukwu, the thing is this. There's a particular brand, I mean, we are not going to give them advert. They said they have signed a partnership with the league over 2 billion. They ended that agreement before last year ends. It's a popular pay TV. It's a competitor to the South African one. I know you know the pay TV I'm talking about is owned by, the oldest, whatever in Africa. We don't want to give them a free advert. But the thing is this, there is a whole lot of intricacies that needs to be sorted out. The problem we have with the league here is this: if you are investing money, and let me tell you for free, the reason why that particular brand pulled out their money was because they are not getting return on investment. And why are they not getting return on investment? Let's look at the 20 leagues that we have. How many of them are independently owned? Remove Ikorodu City. How many of them are independently owned? Majority of them, 17, 18 of them are connected to the government.
True.
Government who runs the league. Until government at state level, until the answer of, I mean, you talked about the English league. You talked about what Dean did in the early 90s, which was very fantastic. We could achieve the same thing here, but the difference is this: there was no government-run club as at that time, and that was the reason why it was very, very successful. Until the state governments answer. Should I shock you? This 3SC issue now, I can bet you, the government that is sponsoring 3SC is already having a conversation with somebody in the LMC, or even somebody who is above the head of the LMC to resolve this issue. And by the end of the day, you will see that they are giving them a fine that does not make sense. A fine or a punishment that does not make sense. See, we need government to answer football completely.
Let me now make it more interesting.
Without any this thing.
Let me now make it more interesting. Reports from Shooting Stars has it that the club side have denied holding Ikorodu City players and officials hostage after Sunday's Nigerian Premier Football League. Match the two encounter. All right, Nurudi Awiroro side. Yeah, they've released an official statement that it's a lie for the pit of hell, that nothing of such happened. That story was actually manufactured by detractors. You know how interesting it is. So, you know, even the statement says we wish to clearly state through this medium, officially talking about Shooting Stars, that no players, officials were held hostage after Sunday's match. Read the statement. We actually needed to take such step as a safety measure. They said it was a safety measure for the two teams and match officials after we got informed about the rowdy, unsafe, and unconducive atmosphere outside. We also want to refute reports that players and officials of Ikorodu City were attacked and that their bus was damaged. Nothing of such happened as the team left the arena well guarded by security personnel. Maiwa, our viewers, Ikechukwu, those video it's not AI video. They were not manufactured by us or anybody. That video is a clear reflection of what really happened. Ikechukwu, does that look that bus left Ibano unharmed, safe and sound?
Jerry, sadly in court, as far as I know.
I mean, is the guy a comedian?
No, this is official statement.
Jerry, sadly in court, as far as I know.
Shooting Stars.
In court, as far as I know, it's not about what you know. It's all about what you can prove. Okay. And if they say it didn't happen, then the onus is on Ikorodu City to actually prove that it happened.
Ikechukwu, there's video evidence now. Let's look at it from what we can see, because before we get to court now, the video that is showing us here.
Did this incident happen in the stadium? This incident.
Yes. It happened in the stadium.
Their cabin vandalized.
Yes. It happened in the stadium.
That's the stadium premises now.
Look at the stadium premises. The bus was running for their life. It happened in the stadium premises. So did they go and drive it to Lagos before they started destroying the bus? Or the Ikorodu City players decided to destroy their bus, injure their fans, injure themselves.
Well, Jerry, like I said, they still need to actually prove that this is actually what happened. And like I said, Maiwa also said something very interesting. There's always going to be power play. It's the government against the government. The Oyo State government against the Lagos State government. They will definitely have...
This is a private league.
It doesn't change anything. The government will definitely step in. And you remember the day we were talking about them getting a ticket to continent? What did he say? He said perhaps if they get the ticket to the continent, they will definitely be forced to actually rely on the government at some point, perhaps doing some Bambia Latins to actually help them finance their continental, chase, right? So we cannot... totally remove the government from the issue of Ikorodu City. At this point, we can't, because the league is not, the league is not running entirely or even close to 50% outside the government's power. So it's still very much, the government thing. Now, again, a high-level official from Ikorodu City is also meeting with 3SC and, of course, the government and, a lot of power play, and of course it's going to be okay. Don't worry, we'll get you new boss. We do this, we do that, and everything goes on. But the point is, it goes back to what we're talking about. A structured league across the world. Now, one of the things that I'll keep saying is this: when these guys were actually setting up for their league, you were talking about paid TV that was going to rival, what we know. We're not even discussing paid TV. We're discussing a TV station that every single person can actually get access to just with their antenna. I'm not saying it should not be on these platforms where...
NTA was doing that.
NTA is still very much government owned.
See,
I need to understand...
Even a private station was doing that.
See, there's a difference between stepping in as a sponsor and stepping in as, what's it called? A co-owner. That's what Sky Sport is. You cannot...
Wait, as a co-owner to benefit what? Let me tell you, privately owned TV station was doing that in the MPFL.
As a sponsor.
Just as a part owner. They did it. I'm telling you, it was later on the sponsors came in and was giving something to them. They did it. They
As
were
a part
frustrated.
owner.
Yeah, during Obaseki's time, let me not even tell you. During Obaseki's time, when Obaseki was running the NPF, with Nigerian football,
they actually
were
agreed.
packages.
No, the idea was for them to be a sponsor and get something off it. It's different from you being a sponsor and get something off it and be a part owner of the league.
Wait, are you telling them to run a charity and just because?
No, not is Sky Sports running charity. They're not running charity.
The league is running now. The league is doing well.
It didn't start running well overnight. It didn't start running. In fact, till 2000, the English Premier League is not even the best league in terms of organization in Europe. So it didn't start running well overnight.
The NPFL, we heard the NPFL is. So okay, for instance, if Sky Sport was supposed to be here now, you will advise them to go and meet who?
Now this is how this
and
is.
They should just be showing the league
now this
as a charity organization.
No. See, this is how it is. At this point, we still even have 1 or 2 sponsors already. Even as bad as the league is today, we still have, right? Now this is how it is. If you are stepping in, say for example, VOP is stepping in, right? If you are stepping in as an individual brand, you go to these club sides and say, you know, club side, for example, like Ikorodu, there are a lot of persons in this country. In fact, we have at least 20 men in this country that can actually run a privately owned club like they are running Ikorodu today. Many of them can come in. And you tell them, you know what, I want to run a league structure and this is how I want it to be. I'm going to give you full coverage.
Don't worry, maybe I will try and arrange a meeting between you and Shehu Diko.
Shehu Diko is the government.
No, now because those are the only people that will give you the access to do that. That's the truth.
See, so
you can see even in England, there are a lot of procedure you have to go through. You still involve the government. True.
See, nobody's saying you will not involve.
So
the government's role in all of this is a conducive environment.
Okay, you want to do that? Who will you not tell? You just go there and start showing the league without asking permission.
That's what I'm saying. If you step in as a fool and show them this is what I want to do, you guys should just. Of course, the government is obviously getting something from the EPL.
You have to pay taxes. You have to go to.
All of those things will definitely come. It's going to start. It's not going to start overnight for the league to become the best.
How much is the person going to invest? Because we're talking TV here. We're talking about how many games every day. 10 games. We're talking about 10 games.
Not every day now, Jerry. Not every day now.
Every weekend.
It could be every weekend.
No, it must be every weekend for you to have have full strength. Let me tell you what's involved. You are going to be showing 10 games. 10 games meaning that
you don't even have to be 20 persons playing the league. You can actually start with 16 if you have 16 men who can actually manage the league properly.
Yeah, you want to have 16. That means you'll be showing 8 games every weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and Friday, and sometimes Monday. You will have camera crew everywhere. You have to show it live. And are they going to be taking flights, your crew, to all these 8 stadiums?
See, that's
because one in Borno, one in Kano, unless all the games will be playing in Lagos and Abuja alone.
See, if
like that.
No, Jerry.
It's capital intensive.
It's capital intensive, but then it's a business that you can actually look at it and say, okay, in the long run, this is definitely going to be what will happen. It's all about looking. See, you think risk assessment, everything will have to be. But the problem, the only problem I see here at this point in this country, why something like this it's going to be difficult for us to see is security. And if that can be breached, there's no issue.
Congratulations. Anyway, time not really our friend. I would have loved to talk about the situation of the league, and it's looking more interesting as far as the NPFL title run is concerned. And the way it's looking, it might be difficult for Remo Stars to go all out and say they are the league champions. They will have to fight till finish because Rivers United is not letting it look easy for Remo Stars.
I mean, the 2021 champion, actually want to have a taste of what it takes a taste of the league champion again after over 3 years, and it's going to be interesting. Would they actually run it down to the wire? Do Remo Stars really have what it takes to actually hold their own? This is where experience come to play. This is where I have done it before come to play. This is one of those advantage Man City used in the last 4 seasons to actually win the league. When the season is going down to the end, and then the table toppers actually slip up at this particular point. it is not. It's no longer about how informed a team is. It's going to be about the class of that particular team. And I want to believe that being a good they really understand what it means. I mean, last season they actually really fought hard, but then they lost the league to Rangers. And this season again, they are very much in a very good position. 5 points is still a very, very strong position. Going, I think about 6 games to go. So winning the league at this point is still very much in their hand. But then they need to do one thing: take every game as it comes, and then see them like a final. Ensure that they get all 3 points every single time they're actually at home, and then see how they can actually put themselves together when they go away from home.
All right, Mayowa, you heard all the beautiful white paper explanation that Ikorodu was giving us. It's not that we have not seen all these things. We have said it everywhere. People see. I've gone to league where they are discussing the league, the progress of the league. Beautiful discussions, beautiful ideas. When it now comes to persecution, you will persecute. They will be watching you. When the dividends start coming out, they will come with different swords to cut it away to make sure that you don't get to see the next chapter. In Abuto Obaseki, the league was looking like, yes, this is the future. It was looking very interesting. But along the line, people came with swords to cut the cake into pieces, cut their own, and frustrated the man. See, the man hands off. And at the end of the story, it is well.
Yeah, the thing is this. I don't know if Ikechukwu has gone to cover a game in the stadium that you as a cameraman, you have to hide your camera and even remove your clothes. This media clothes.
You hide your press ID card. You disguise.
I have experienced that once, and that's about some 20 odd years ago in Kano, and that was the first and last time I will ever follow anybody to go and cover any game. I barely escaped, and that is the reason why I'm not going back there to do something like that. They will destroy cameras, destroy a whole lot of things. I mean, look at what the 3SC guy is saying, that what happened is a joke. It didn't happen. Nobody attacked anybody. When we are not blind, when we can see exactly what's happening. The bottom line is this: there is a need for there's a need for us to reorganize how our league is being run. If government hands off, individual people come in, that's when investors will be able to invest their money. To cover the league and show the league on TV, it's not that difficult, provided there's an enabling environment for you to be able to invest in. That's where you'll be able to make your money from. Sky Sports invested 300 million in the EPL when it was starting. Sky Sports now, they make billions, of pounds broadcasting the EPL. It was because there was an enabling environment. And this was after, you remember there was a disaster in the late 80s between Liverpool and Everton that people died and the rest of that because of hooliganism. That was the reason why they even decided to reorganize the league to ensure that all those things were not part of the football. And that was why the EPL grew. The same thing needs to happen in Nigeria if we want our league to grow. And that's just it. For the Rivers and the Remo game, Remo, they are beginning to behave like Arsenal. I hope they don't behave like Arsenal at the end of the day. I hope they don't turn Arsenal and become a bottling company that decides to bottle the league. Because, I mean, how do you explain leading with 8 points and you not doing your job properly when you are supposed to do it? We've said it consistently. If you want to win the league, there are vital games that you need to pick up important points from. However, Remo Star are beginning, are not doing that. And for me, I think it's more of complacency setting in, and that's the reason why they are struggling. Well, I know the coach is capable enough. I hope he can turn this around for Remo Star because I just want them to win.
All right, time not really, our friend. We'll have to wrap it up. I would have loved to talk about what happened in the EPL over the weekend. Liverpool lost, Arsenal drew, City, the Manchester derby ended boring, and of course, Manchester United in a boring match. Manchester United was the better team. What do you expect? Anyway, time really fast, and we just have to go. It's been awesome having you, as well as Mayowa and the guys behind the scene, not leaving out the likes of Silva, as well as Shegun, Sam, and Jeremiah, and of course, Ikechukwu. My name is Jerry Apelha, saying stay safe, and if not anything at all, tweet the sports.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to Political Lens on Voice of the People VOP Television, where we are broadcasting on Metro SLTV channel 202. I am Chukuma Okoro, and today we'll look at two big stories. Obi is now heading to SDP. Now this is coming from Tank. Down with that, we'll go to River State, where the State Administrator, Vice Admiral Ebas, has proposed new budget for River State. Well, now let's bring in our guest. We are joined by Comrade Roy Oriabo. Comrade Roy is an activist as well as political affairs commentator. Good evening to you, Comrade Roy, and welcome to Political Lens.
Good evening, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good to have you. How have you been? How is Benin City? How is Edo?
Edo is very good, but the state is very calm. Protest was very peaceful here. People arrest themselves. Was bad on that.